जय
समवेता भक्त वृंद की जय।
जय।
गौर प्रेम आनंदे।
हरि हरि बोल।
All glories to the assembled devotees.
हरे
हरे
कृष्णा।
कृष्णा।
All glories to the assembled devotees.
हरे
हरे
कृष्णा।
कृष्णा।
All glories to the assembled devotees.
हरे
हरे कृष्णा।
All glory to Sri Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga Hari Hari Bol.
हरि
Nama
बोल।
Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Shami Iti Namane. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharini Nirbishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
ओम
ओम
नमो
नमो
भगवते
भगवते
वासुदेवाय।
वासुदेवाय।
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
ओम नमो भगवते
भगवते
वासुदेवाय।
वासुदेवाय।
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
ओम नमो
भगवते
भगवते वासुदेवाय।
वासुदेवाय।
Hare Krishna. We
हरे
are
कृष्णा।
continuing our study and reading of Sri Caitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Lila, Chapter 1, which is a summary of the Lord's later pastimes. And this is just after he took sannyas. We read last time about Lord Chaitanya traveling to Jagannath Puri and having his sannyas staff broken by Nityananda Prabhu at a place just north of Puri called Nanda Banga Nadi. He threw it in that river. The Nadi means river, I believe, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, so he threw it in the river. And then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu became, at least apparently, irritated, and he went alone to the Jagannath temple, letting his other associates follow later. Maybe recall, who are the associates that went with Lord Chaitanya on his way to Puri? There's many wanted to go, but then he said, no, no, at Advaitacharya's house in Shantipur. But then there were four associates that went with him to Puri, if you recall any of them, you could say.
Hey, Krishna Prabhu, I think Mukunda, one of them.
Very good. Yes, Mukunda. Yes, yes, Mukunda. Any others? Of course, you remember it must be Nityananda Prabhu because he broke the staff, right? Nityananda. And then there was Jagadananda and Damodar. That's a Damodar Pandit. So there's those four devotees went, but so he left them behind, and then he went alone to the Jagannath temple here. So we're at text 99.
সার্বভৌম লয়া গেলা আপন ভবন, তৃতীয় প্রহরে প্রভুর হইল চেতন।
After Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu saw Lord Jagannath in the temple and fell down unconscious, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya took him to his home. The Lord remained unconscious until the afternoon, when he finally regained his consciousness. So he was unconscious, or apparently unconscious, for some time. But, yeah.
নিত্যানন্দ, জগদানন্দ, দামোদর, মুকুন্দ, পাছে আসি মিলি, সবে পাইল আনন্দ।
The Lord had left Nityananda's company and had gone alone to the Jagannath temple. But later, Nityananda, Jagadananda, Damodar, and Mukunda came to see him, and after seeing him, they were very pleased.
তবে সার্বভৌমে প্রভু প্রসাদ করিল, আপন ঈশ্বর মূর্তি তারে দেখাইল।
After this incident, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu bestowed his mercy upon Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya by showing him his original form as the Lord.
তবে তো করিলা প্রভু দক্ষিণ গমন, কূর্মক্ষেত্রে কইল বাসুদেব বিমোচন।
After bestowing mercy upon Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, the Lord started for southern India. When he came to Kurmakshetra, he delivered a person named Vasudev.
জিয়র নৃসিংহে কইল নৃসিংহ স্তবন, পথে পথে গ্রামে গ্রামে নাম প্রবর্তন।
After visiting Kurmakshetra, the Lord visited the South Indian temple of Jiyada Nrisingha and offered his prayers to Lord Nrisinghadev. On his way, he introduced the chanting of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra in every village. Well, we'll stop here, even though there's no purport. I'll speak a little bit. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitang Jena Bhutale Shayam Rupakadam Ahyam Dadati Shapandantikam Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivashadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Before speaking, I'd like to ask permission and blessings from the devotees, and particularly those who are senior by age and or advancement in Krishna consciousness. Hare Krishna. So we have Lord Chaitanya now, after visiting the Jagannath temple and delivering Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, he starts on his South Indian tour. And so therefore we chanted the Krishna, 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 Hey chant, which he chanted in South India on his way to South India. So a couple of points, and perhaps you have some other points you'd like to make or observations here. So we read that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu delivered Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya and showed him his original form as Lord Krishna. All of these pastimes are briefly described here, and they'll be elaborately described later. This is just for us to remember and review. So in the later description of Lord Chaitanya manifesting his original form to Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami says he first showed his form as four-armed Vishnu with what are those? Chakra, Shank,
Chakra Gadadhara.
Gada, and what?
Lotus flower.
Lotus Padma, yeah, Lotus Padma, yeah. And then he showed his two-armed form of Lord Krishna playing the flute. Something similar like Arjuna was seeing in the Bhagavad Gita after Lord Krishna exhibited his universal form. He first showed his four-armed form and then his two-armed form. Although in the Chaitanya Bhagavat and also in two places in the Adi Leela Chaitanya Charitamrita and the teachings of Lord Chaitanya, Srila Prabhupada mentions that Lord Chaitanya showed his Shadbhuj form to Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. Shadbhuj means 6 arms. So this is quite very interesting. It seems like there might be not a clarity on this point, So it's kind of unusual for people in the West to think of beings with more than two arms. Vishnu with 4 arms, or Sadbhuj with 6 arms, or Nrsingadev has Lord Nrsingadev has manifestations with 10 arms or thousands of arms. How does that be? It's a little shocking. Sometimes people take the idea that God is anthropomorphic. Have you ever heard that? We make God in our image instead of vice versa. So because we have 2 arms, therefore we fashion God in 2 arms according to our conceptions. Anthropomorphic means God is made by man really. It's not, doesn't have a separate existence. So in challenge to that, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu showed this 6-armed form, and Lord Vishnu has 4 arms, and Lord Nrsimha may have 10 arms or 1,000 arms. So it's not just according to the idea of 2-armed formed humans. It goes against the idea of anthropomorphism. You follow?
But
And not only that, go ahead.
six arms, what will he have in the arms?
Oh, the 6 arms and Shadbhuj? You know, what would you say?
What does he have, like, in the arms?
Kaivalya Prabhu knows. He's there. Kaivalya Prabhu. I think. Maybe he's busy. So, 2 arms is Lord Ramchandra with bow and arrow.
Okay.
2 arms is Lord Krishna with flute and stick rod for cowherds carry a stick sometimes. And 2 arms as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. What are in the 2 arms of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu?
Kamanda.
A water pot, Kamandalu, and what else?
Kamandala and Danda.
Danda, that's right, yeah. So somehow the Danda reappeared. So the Danda reappeared.
But those 6 arms, if he has that, what about his own, that Shankachakra?
We don't hear about it in this other understanding of it. We just hear these 6 arms. Lord Ramchandra, Lord Krishna, and Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So Sadbhuj, the 6-armed form of Lord Chaitanya, was also manifested to Lord Nityananda Prabhu. We read about that in the early part of the Adi Lila, when Lord Chaitanya first met Nityananda Prabhu at Nandanacharya's house. The next day, he manifested a 6-armed form to Lord Nityananda, but that form was different than the form he exhibited here in Puri. That form was 4-handed Vishnu with a Shank, Chakra, Gada, Padma, and playing the flute also. So that was different. But this form, this 6-armed form, Sadbhuj, is also present. He exhibited also to Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, but it's also present as a deity in Jagannath Puri, inside the Jagannath Puri temple. Perhaps you've seen. Those of you who can go inside the Puri temple, have you seen that? There's a Sadbhuj Murti of Lord Chaitanya in Jagannath Puri.
Not that
You see?
I don't remember that, Prabhu. It's a long time ago.
And that later, Lord Chaitanya exhibited a Sadbhuj form, the same Sadbhuj form, to Prataparudra Maharaj. Prataparudra Maharaj had a painting of this form painted on the wall of the Jagannath temple, and also it was painted on the wall of Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya's house, which was just close by to the temple, to the Jagannath temple. So today you can still see that painting of Lord Chaitanya in 6 arms form, Sadbhuj, at the house of Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya if you go and visit. Now it's called the Ganga Mata Goshamini ashram, but it was prior to that, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya's house. So Lord Krishna has many forms, Dvaitam, Achyutam, Anadim, Anantarupam. He's non-dual, but he has many forms. Anantarupa means one side he has many, many different forms. Another understanding of Anantarupa means his form is unlimited. It's not limited by our material conceptions. So not only does he appear, again, going against the idea of anthropomorphism, not only he appears in a human-like form, but he also appears as a tortoise-like fish, half man, half lion, horse, these things. So this Vedic conception of Bhagavan is in contrast to the idea of man manufacturing God in his own image. You follow? All these different kinds of forms that are not human-like. That's very, very interesting. So Srila Prabhupada comments in this, this is his display of, Lord Chaitanya's display of the six-armed form. He says that the best purpose of human life can be served by worshipping the Sadbhuj Murti. 5th canto, 19th chapter, 8th verse in Srimad Bhagavatam, he describes this Sadbhuj Murti also.
That's why that way we pray all the three gods.
You do?
Rama, Krishna, and then Chaitanya.
Yes. Other comments about Sadbhuj Murti, since he's not specifically mentioned here, but he's mentioned that form of Lord Chaitanya is mentioned in other places at this time. Any other comments? And then we have this Lord Chaitanya visiting Kurumukshetra, and actually he had a discussion with the Kurma Brahmin there that's not mentioned here, and we'll read about that later. But that was a very important discussion with Kurma Brahmin, and because Kurma Brahmin wanted to come with him on his tour. He said, I'm barely just kind of absorbed in my material world, my material life. Let me go with you. So this is where Lord Chaitanya said the very famous verse, Sthane stita shutukatam tanovagmanobi, jare deka tare kaha Krishna upadesh, amar agyay guru hana tara eresh. So don't talk like that. Stay in your position and chant the holy names of God. Sthane stita shrutigatam, and hear about me. Yes. Wherever you go, just whoever your friends are, whoever your associates, tell them about Krishna. And that way, be a guru. Lord Chaitanya didn't allow him to come.
Yeah, there is a Kurma, Sri Kurma also in Andhra.
The deity of Lord Kurmadev, yes.
Kurma Deva. And then they say it's original. You can see that Kurma. And then you can see lot of tortoise there.
And then you have the Jiyada Nrisingha.
Huh?
This is in your area, the Jiyada Nrisingha.
Yeah.
This is a Singhachalam.
Simhachalam is different. Kurma, Sri Kurma is different.
Yeah, Kurma is different, but then after Kurma, he goes to Jiyada Nrisingha.
Yeah.
That is. And he offered his prayers there. And then later to Ahobila Nrisingha.
Ahobila,
yeah, those two different places. And those he chanted Shri Nrisingha Jai Nrisingha Jai Jai Nrisingha Palada Desha Padma Mukha Padma Bringa. He chanted these prayers to Lord Nrisingha Dev at that time. Ahobilam. So there's at this Singhachalam, and then after that at Ahobilam in the same trip, just shortly thereafter. So if devotees are interested, there's a nice website called ahobila.com, Ahobila. And this you can see all there's I think, is it nine temples in the hills there of Lord Nrisinghadev in Ahobilam. And the very nice pictures are given of the temples there and the background and the history. It's a nice website made by a Hare Krishna devotee doesn't give his name right off the bat.
They're
I
not
looked-
very far from my place, Visakhapatnam and
Yeah.
Visakhapatnam.
So it's if you have the time, it's interesting and wonderful to remember Lord Chaitanya's. That's a assistance of remembering Lord Chaitanya's South Indian tour by looking at that. Even if you don't go by physically, but you can go on the internet to the temples of Lord Nrsimha in Ahobalam and Singhachalam. Comments, questions, observations, corrections? Okay, 104.
গোদাবরী তীর বনে বৃন্দাবন ভ্রম রামানন্দ রায় সহ তাহাই মিলন।
Once the Lord mistook the forest on the bank of the river Godavari to be Vrindavan. In that place, he happened to meet Ramanand Rai.
ত্রিমল্ল ত্রিপদী স্থান কইল দর্শন সর্বত্র করিল কৃষ্ণ নাম প্রচারণ।
He visited the places known as Tirumala and Tirupati, where he extensively preached the chanting of the Lord's holy name. Purport. This holy place is situated in the district of Tanjore, Chittor, South India. The temple of Tirupati is situated in the valley of Venkatachala and contains the deity of Lord Ramchandra. On top of Venkatachala is the famous temple of Balaji. So there's two temples here at least, down and up. The one down is Lord Ramchandra, the upside is Balaji. And many of you perhaps have gone to Tirupati. Srila Prabhupada said this, where did this name Venkateshwar come from? Do you have any idea, Venkateshwar? I think the name Venkat is very common in South India, or at least in Andhra, that side. Venkat, where does the Venkat come from? Anybody?
What did you say, Prabhu? Venkata?
The name Venkat, Vyenk, Venkat. What does it mean?
I don't know. I never thought. Venkata.
Venkat, there's so many Venkats. Venkat. Srila
They
Prabhupada
just-
said, Srila Prabhupada that says it comes from the word Vaikunt. So Vaikunteshwar is it became Venkateshwar, Vaikunteshwar. Yeah. So that's the Lord of the spiritual world, Vaikunteshwar. So that temple is there. And of course, that's one of the richer, or some say the richest temple in India. And people go there and ladies go and they have,
Yeah.
maybe you did that.
Not all ladies, everybody.
Even the gents, but what are you going to do
If
with
they
gents?
have anything, they wish that they'll give their head there.
Yes, they donate so many things there. And Ramanujacharya, when he went there back in the 11th century, he was based originally in Kanchipuram, but then he came to Venkatachala. And there was some discussion that whether this is a Vishnu deity or a Shiva deity, but he established it's definitely Lord Vishnu.
Vishnu.
Over time, when people forget, Sakalini Hamohata Yoganeshta Parantapa, but he reestablished the truth that this is the deity of Lord Vishnu, Vaikunteshwar.
That is Vishnu.
Yes, not Lord Shiva. Any other comments? So we're making this is a summary tour of Lord Chaitanya's South India tour. All right, next.
তবে তো পাষণ্ডী গণে করিল দলন অহবল নৃসিংহাদি কইল দর্শন।
After visiting the temples of Tirumala and Tirupati, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had to subdue some atheists. He then visited the temple of Ahobala Nrisingha. So he had visited later, Ahobala Nrisingha purport. The Ahobala temple is situated in Dakshinatya, in the district of Karnula, within the subdivision of Sarbela. What is that?
They call it Karnool. Nowadays,
Karnul, no long
my
A, yeah.
sister lives there.
Okay. And within the subdivision of Sarbela. Throughout the whole district, this very famous temple is much appreciated by the people. There are 8 other temples also, and all of them together are called the Nava Nrisingha temples. There's much wonderful architecture and artistic engraving work in these temples. However, as stated in the local gazette, the Karnul, how do you say it?
Karnool.
Karnul manual, the work is not complete. So you've been there, Mother Vindavali, isn't it?
My sister lives there. I've been so many times.
So many times, yeah.
Ahobilam also I went there. There is another, that's what Narasimha, if you put jaggery and water, like that, you make that for offering to Narasimha. Yeah, they have gallons of water in a big pots. And when you go there, they will give you a pot. We put in the mouth. And I don't know where, they don't know where it goes. So
what is that called?
There.
That drink they made for Lord Nrisingha.
Yeah.
Giving us, does it have a special name?
Panakam.
Panakam. Yeah, that's Panakam.
Panakam means brown sugar and then water. Jaggery
Sometimes
and
they
water.
put some spices. Sometimes they put cardamom in also.
No, this one they don't put any.
Okay. Panakam they do. So,
Panakala Narasimha Swami.
so this Ahobala Nrisingha, it's in the mountainous area.
Yeah.
And if you want to search it on the internet, it's they don't spell it this way. They spell it Ahobila, Ahobila. That's how they say it now.
Yeah.
Ahobila, Nrisingha. Okay.
So in our language, that comes like that, Ahobilam.
Yes. Text 107. Go ahead.
When I was in Hyderabad many years ago, we went to one temple in the cave. It's called Yadgiri Gutta.
Yadgiri Gutta. Yeah, Yadgiri Gutta.
Yadgiri
That
Gutta.
is not a very big mountain.
Yeah.
It's a little high. You can
we
see
have many
also.
Nrsimhade murtis there. Yeah.
Yeah, that is another one. Yadgiri Gutta in Hyderabad.
Yeah.
This is in a similar, in about the same area or different area?
Yeah, these are all Nrsimha temples nearby.
Yes. And
from
Lord
Karnool,
Caitanya
it's not very far. Karnool is not very far.
Did Lord Caitanya go to that temple also?
I don't think
Mother
so.
Golokananda Priya, did they devotees say that?
I never heard that, but I remember we used to go and visit them. There's many Nrsimhade deities inside the cave, and beautiful place, very famous, very close to Hyderabad.
Yeah.
It's different.
Almost it's in Hyderabad only.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah.
So an interesting point is that Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he made an effort to follow the footsteps of Lord Chaitanya in his South Indian tour, going to visiting all the places that Lord Chaitanya visited, and in those places installing replicas of Lord Chaitanya's lotus feet in the different places where Lord Chaitanya visited. So most of the places he visited, but not all. So that was his. So when you go to a holy place like this, that's very purifying for various reasons. One reason is because you're using your effort to remember Krishna, to go to a place to remember Krishna. So that's one aspect of, there's 9 processes of devotional service, and that would be Padasevanam. Padasevanam. Usually you think of Padasevanam as Lakshmi as massaging Lord Vishnu's feet, but also using your feet to go to a holy place for service. That's also Padasevanam described. And of course, going to the holy place is not just for taking a bath, but also to hear about the transcendental activities of the Supreme Lord associated with that holy place from the saintly people and devotees who live there is especially encouraged. So that's why Lord Krishna said in the 10th canto, he was describing this to the kings that had been captured and imprisoned by Jarasandha. Yasyatma buddhi kunape tridhatuke svadhi kalatradi shubhoma ijadi yatirtha buddhi salilena karhichet janyeshiva abhigeshu sa eva gokara. So he was very strong language. He said to these kings, there were thousands of them who had been in prison, he said, somebody who thinks that this body made of three elements is themselves, who thinks of their kith and kin as their dearmost relatives, who thinks that the place of birth, my country Tizadi, is worshipable, and who goes to the holy places just to take a bath, but not to hear from the great saints who live or associated with those places, they're the same level as Gokara. Go means
There's
cow.
another place, Gokarnam also.
Gokara means, and Kara means burro, burro. Sometimes they ass. Like that.
There's a place, Gokarnam also.
That's a different place, yeah. Text 107.
শ্রীরঙ্গ ক্ষেত্র আইলা শ্রীরঙ্গ ক্ষেত্র আইলা কাবেরীর তীর শ্রীরঙ্গ দেখিয়া প্রেমে হইল অস্থির.
When Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to the land of Sri Rangakshetra on the bank of the Kaveri, he visited the temple of Sri Ranganath and was there overwhelmed in the ecstasy of love of Godhead.
ত্রিমল্ল ভট্টের ঘরে কইল প্রভু বাস, তাহাই রহিলা প্রভু বর্ষা 4 মাস.
Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu lived at the house of Trimala Bhatt for the 4 months of the rainy season. So here you can see that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu left Puri in the month of, remember? There's Chaitra Mas and Vaishakha Mas, which is later.
Chaitram Vaishakam.
He left in the month of Vaishakha, and now, but very shortly thereafter, he's here in Rangakshetra when the rainy season begins, Chaturmas begins.
Chaturmas, yes.
So he traveled maybe 700-800 miles, 900 miles in a short time, 6 weeks on foot.
শ্রী বৈষ্ণব ত্রিমল্ল ভট্ট পরম পণ্ডিত গোসাইর পণ্ডিত্য প্রেমে হইলা বিস্মিত.
Sri Trimal Bhatt was a member of the Sri Vaishnav community and a learned scholar. Therefore, when he saw Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who was both a great scholar and a great devotee of the Lord, he was very much astonished.
চাতুর্মাস্য তাহা প্রভু শ্রী বৈষ্ণবের সনে গাইল নৃত্য গীত কৃষ্ণ সংকীর্তনে.
Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu passed the Chaturmas months with the Sri Vaishnavas, singing, chanting the holy name, and dancing. So as you know, there's 4 bona fide Vaishnav Sampradayas. One is the Gaudiya, Brahma Madhva Gaudiya Sampradaya, the Brahma Sampradaya. Then there's the Lakshmi or Sri Sampradaya. Then you have the Rudra Sampradaya and the Kumar Sampradaya. So Venkata Bhatta was a learned priest of the Ranganath temple in the Sri Sampradaya. And whenever you have 2 persons who are quite elevated in spiritual understanding, when they get together and discuss spiritual topics, the resultant discussions are a very, very high and wonderful level. So that's what happened here between Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Venkata Bhatt in Srirangam Kshetra. And we'll read that later, these discussions between them. Interesting point is, in the early years of the Christian religion, there were patriarchs in the East, and then there was the Roman Catholics, and the Roman Catholics sent their missionaries to different parts of the world, and they also went to Ireland. So in Ireland, the Catholic teachings were developed for a few hundred years, but at that time, they didn't have much communication ability. There was no internet and telephones, even mail didn't go. So they were kind of isolated in Ireland, the Catholics developing there. But later, in around the 800, 900, some 100 years later, they sent missionaries back to other parts of Europe. And then when those missionaries met the missionaries that came from Rome, they got together and they had wonderful discussions on the philosophy of Christianity. And there was what they call a renaissance of spiritual thought at that time, because of two groups coming together, both very serious in spiritual life. So Lord Chaitanya's discussion, of course, that's a brief or a smaller example of what Lord Chaitanya is doing and experiencing with Venkata from the Sri Sampradaya. And we'll see that Lord Chaitanya also discussed in detail many things with devotees, followers of the Madhya Sampradaya, who were called Tattvavadis also. Later, we'll see that too. Very high level discussions. And we can learn from those discussions. Other comments? Okay.
চাতুর্মাস্য অন্তে পুনঃ দক্ষিণ গমন পরমানন্দ পুরী সহ তাহাই মিলন.
After the end of Chaturmasya, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu continued traveling throughout South India. At that time, he met Paramananda Puri.
তবে
You know who Paramananda Puri is? Paramananda Puri. Okay, we'll see it later. He's a god brother of Ishwar Puri, Lord Chaitanya's spiritual master, disciple of Madhavendra Puri. Okay.
তবে ভট্টথারি হইতে কৃষ্ণদাসের উদ্ধার রামজপি বিপ্রমুখে কৃষ্ণ নাম প্রচার.
After this, Krishna Das, the servant of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, was delivered from the clutches of a Bhattahari. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu then preached that Lord Krishna's name should also be chanted by Brahmins who are accustomed to chanting Lord Ram's name. Purport. In the Malabar district, a section of Brahmins are known as Nambudari Brahmins, and the Bhattaharis are their priests. Bhattaharis know many tantric black arts, such as the art of killing a person, of bringing him under submission, and of destroying or devastating him. They are very expert in these black arts, and one such Bhattahari bewildered the personal servant of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu while the servant accompanied the Lord in his travels through South India. Somehow or other, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu delivered this Krishna Das from the clutches of the Bhattahari. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is well known as Patit Pavana, the savior of all fallen souls, and he proved this in his behavior toward his personal servant, Krishna Das, whom he saved. Sometimes the word Bhattahari is misspelled in Bengal as Bhattamari. So this is a very interesting pastime of Lord Chaitanya and his servant Krishna Das, who was accompanying him in his tour of South India. This Krishna Das was also from a Brahmin background family. And even while in the personal association daily of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he strayed. Sometimes people say, well, the soul, if we were with Krishna, how is it that we could leave the spiritual world and come to this world? But here we have a practical example of someone who's in the personal association of the Supreme Personality of Godhead who deviated, got distracted. That shows that each living entity, we have our minute independence. Even in the spiritual world, even in the personal association of God, one can misuse that independence. Therefore, Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Icha dvesha samutena dvandva mohena bharat. Out of desire and envy, where people are born into this material world. So this, although Lord Chaitanya's servant deviated, became attracted to this, and influenced by the Bhattaharis, Lord Chaitanya went there and grabbed him. And if you look at what actually happened, after he grabbed Krishna Das back from the Bhattaharis, they came after him. And they ran after Lord Chaitanya and Krishna Das. And you know what Lord Chaitanya did? Anybody? He used his chakra. It says later. So 99.9% of the time, Lord Chaitanya, when dealing with deviants or non-devotees, asuric people, he delivered them, by preaching. But in this one instance, he used some strong force. Of course, that also was for their benefit. But that's the only instance in the whole Lord Chaitanya's Leela that I know that he used physical force like that, or so-called physical force to punish those who were demoniac in their attitudes towards him and his devotees. So even though Krishnadas was his servant and he delivered them, when Lord Chaitanya went back to Jagannath Puri afterwards, he neglected Krishnadas. He was not happy because he did this. So what happened was Krishnadas was very, very unhappy. So Lord Nityananda took mercy on him and he gave him a special assignment to go to Navadvip and inform Mother Sachi and the devotees in Mayapur and Navadvip of Lord Chaitanya's return. And so that way he got the mercy of the devotees so he could be reinstated with the mercy of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Even though Lord Chaitanya neglected him, the devotees did not neglect him. And they helped him further his service to Lord Krishna. Very interesting. Comments, questions, observations? Okay, we'll do, let's see, one more, come on.
শ্রীরঙ্গপুরী সহ তাহাই মিলন রামদাস বিপ্রের কইল দুঃখ বিমোচন.
Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu then met Sri Rangapuri and mitigated all the sufferings of a Brahmin named Ramdas. The sufferings of the Brahmin named Ramdas were that he was lamenting about Lord Ramchandra's wife Sita being kidnapped by Ravan. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu brought scriptures from a temple in South India that validated and supported the fact that Sita, that wasn't really Sita. It was a Maya Sita that was
Maya
taken by
Sita.
Ravan, not
Mm.
actual Sita. Actual Sita was taken in the care of Agni Dev, but the Maya Sita was taken. And so then this Ramdas was very happy about that. Happy to.
Is it the same Ramdas who wrote lots of songs in Bhadrachalam?
I don't know that. I don't know
That's
that.
where Rama's temple is there.
I'm sure there are many temples of Ram.
Yeah. But Bhadrachalam is very famous. And
What's the
he
name?
wrote
What's the name? What's the name of it?
Bhadrachalam.
Bhadrachalam.
Mm.
Okay, I'll check into
And
that.
he
We'll check into that. It's not mentioned
he
here.
wrote lots of beautiful songs in our language, and he was jailed also for a while. And then in jail also he says, I gave all my money. I made nice necklace for Sita. So this is what I got.
Oh, you
He
think
was-
it's the same Ramdas? Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. That's what I thought.
Why was he in jail? Why was he in jail?
I don't know for some. That I forgot. But he
Okay, we'll
was
have
in
to
jail
do some
for a
research
while.
on that. We'll have
I'll
to do
get
some.
that.
Okay,
No, they're not in-
let's stop here and review, like last time. We'll review some of the activities of Lord Chaitanya up to this point, and see if we can get some of those. If if you'd like to give one or two or as many as you like, let's just to recall. Anybody? So we're Lord Chaitanya. He arrived at Jagannath Puri, right?
And after and Nityananda, can I speak?
Yeah, sure.
Nityananda Prabhu broke his sannyas danda, and seemingly annoyed, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu left everybody and went into the temple alone.
Yes.
Once he
Yes.
went to the temple, I think he fainted out of ecstasy.
Yes.
And he was taken by Sarvabhaum Bhattacharya to his home.
Yes.
To Sarvabhaum Bhattacharya's home. And there, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu showed Sarvabhaum Bhattacharya first his four-armed form and then his two-armed form.
Although in the other places it's mentioned that he showed his six-armed form. Yeah.
Six-armed form. I'm missing. I think I'm missing a few.
That's all right. That's okay. You've given many. So after that, he left Puri, and the first place mentioned after Puri that he stayed was there.
Kurmakshetra.
Yeah, Kurmakshetra. Yeah, and there was a Kurma Brahmin there, and there was also another person that we didn't discuss it, but there was another person in Kurmakshetra that he liberated. He remember anybody? We didn't discuss it. At Kurmakshetra. There was a Vasudev leper Vasudev. There was a leper who was a devotee, and he was so equipoised that even the insects that were eating away his flesh, they'd fall and he'd put him back. He didn't want to, but Lord Chaitanya embraced him, and he became cured of his leprosy, and he also became a great devotee of the Lord. The Vasudeva mercy. There's a name of Lord Chaitanya, which means he gave mercy to Vasudeva. Okay, so that's at Kurmakstan. Then after leaving Kurmastan, he went to
Ahobilam.
no Jiyada Nrsimha. Yeah. That was Singhachalam, yeah.
Venkatachalam.
Then after that, after Singhachalam, he went to the bank of the Godavari and spoke with Ramananda Roy. We're getting it here. We're getting it in order. Boom, boom, boom. The Ramananda Roy. Then after, that was a very wonderful discussion. Then after Ramananda Roy, he went to Tirupati, right? Tirupati. And then after Tirupati, I kind of put him together, but after Tirupati, he went to
Ahobilam.
Ahobilam. Yeah, Ahobilam. Ahobilam is Nrisingha. Then after Ahobilam,
This is that where he Krishna. This is the part where we
no,
talk.
there's something before that. There's something before. After Ahobilam. Come on. You just got carried away by Ahobilam in the next one. After Ahobilam is Rangakshetra, Sriranganath, Srirangam, yeah. Venkata, yeah, Venkata Bhatt. Yeah. So he stayed there during the Chaturmas. So now we're only talking for 4 months he stayed there. And, Venkata Bhatt was the priest that he had discussions with, and Venkata Bhatt's son. He was only 10 or so at the time. He also served Lord Chaitanya, and later he came to Vrindavan, and he was Gopal Bhatta Goswami. That was Venkata Bhatt's son from the Lord Chaitanya's travels to South India. He stayed there. Then after staying for 4 months at Rangakshetra, Sri Rangam, that's when something happened. You were talking about it a little bit before.
Krishna Das and those.
Yeah. Krishna Das. Hey, he met Paramananda Puri, then the incident with Krishna Das happened. Yeah. So that's where we are now. We've gone through just to keep it in our minds, remembering that's the purpose of Krishna Das Kaviraj Goswami making a summary of the pastimes of Lord Chaitanya's later activities, because to help us recall them, that purifies our thoughts and our minds throughout the day, just to remember these activities of Lord Chaitanya. Okay. Comments, questions, reflections, etc.
Prabhu, can you talk a little bit about Paramananda Puri a little bit? Who is
Paramananda Puri that's a Puri, you can see by his name, is a sannyasi. So Lord Chaitanya, when he met him, he requested that he come to Jagannath Puri. That has nothing to do with the two Puris, but he came because he became one of the constant associates of the Lord at Jagannath Puri. That's what I recall. There was another sannyasi he met in South India, other than Rangapuri also, but there's also Prabodhananda Saraswati. Prabodhananda Saraswati was the brother of Venkata Bhatt. He was also a Sri Vaishnava in the discipline, but he also became the associate of Lord Chaitanya. And Prabodhananda Saraswati wrote many different prayers, and then he wrote the shloka Kaivalyam Narakayate Akasha Tridasha Pushpayate. Said mundane or impersonal liberation is like hell for the devotee, and enjoying heavenly delights is like Akasha Pushpayate, a flower in the sky, or we would say a will-o'-the-wisp. So Prabodhananda Saraswati, Paramananda Puri, they were sannyasi associates of Lord Chaitanya, and Lord Chaitanya requested him to come to Jagannath Puri to engage in the kirtan and devotional service. I don't have much else. Do you know more about Paramananda Puri?
No, I don't know. Yeah, I heard about his name many times, so I don't know so much.
Okay, so we maybe next time if there's more, I'll let you know. Anything else? Thank you all. Thank you
Hare
all very
Krishna,
much.
Prabhu.
Go ahead. Yes,
Oh,
Madhusudhan.
very nice class. Very interesting. And I was thinking that when Jagai Madhya were giving trouble to Nityananda Prabhu and made Lord Chaitanya upset, and that time Lord Chaitanya was about to show chakra or no? That's what
He
I
did
was
have chakra. He was about to show. He did show chakra, but he didn't use it.
didn't use.
Nityananda Prabhu stopped him. So
Yeah.
but in this case, if you read, we'll read later that he actually used it. That's the only time I know he used. I think he used it. So that was the distinction. Lord Nityananda Prabhu wasn't there to stop him in this case, but somehow it happened.
Okay. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Panchakalpatarubhyascha kripasindhubhyeva patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Hare Krishna. Thank you
Hare
all.
Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you very much, Prabhu. Remembering all this, it's a little bit hard.
Nice discussion.
Nice discussion. But remembering is a little getting hard for me.